All right, we are live. Look at this. What a crazy view that is. Well, hello, this is Anthony Metivier from magneticmemorymethod.com. Trying to figure out the situation here. The studio is quite in production here while I'm shooting some new video courses and so on. But oh man, I am so excited. I am releasing today an interview with Florian Delay, and it's really, really great. If you want to listen to this, we get real deep into the major system. Now, you may know that I often call the major system the major method, and one of the reasons for that is that it is really, I think that it's more of a method because you understand it and then you create a system for yourself. Dario says hello. Thank you for saying hello, Dario. Where are you in the world? Everyone who's hopping on, please do let me know who you are and where you are in the world. And one of the things that I'm really excited about, as I mentioned, is a new interview that I have on the Magnetic Memory Method podcast with Florian Delay. And Florian is probably one of the leading thinkers. Dario says he's in Mexico. Awesome. Glad that you're here. He's one of the leading thinkers of the major system. And Nicholas from Texas. All right. Thanks for being here. Balian from Taiwan. Oh man, Taiwan, I really want to visit there. I want to visit Dallas too, actually. I was just mentioning that to somebody, how badly I would like to visit Dallas, Texas. And that guy's name is Raymond, and he wrote a very lovely letter to me. Aman says, from Kia Ora, greetings from New Zealand. Oh wow, so not far from here. But yeah, Raymond wrote a real nice letter to me. Thank you for your nice letters, by the way, by email. He had some great things to say about ancient Greek and Latin, and how he's teaching students to use these memory techniques. 111 students, he said, that he has right now. Alan says, hi, Anthony. What about coming down to Melbourne? Make it possible. I mean, what do we got to do to make it happen? Nicholas says, we got a United Nations forming here. All right, yeah, we do have the United Nations of Memory. But just so you know, this new interview just went live with Florian Delay. You've got to hear this. You've got to download this MP3, get it into your memory improvement collection. One of the things that we talk about is some of the secrets from Esels Welt. This is a book by Ulrich Voigt, and it's not available in English as far as I know, but he and I both can read it because of our abilities with German, and Florian unlocks the secrets that are in here, especially the wardrobe technique and a lot of the influence that it's had on him. So you're going to want to get that. And you can go to magneticmemorymethod.com/Florian, and it'll help you learn some of the things that, if you're not a German reader, are really just locked up tight in this book. And I'm actually going to ask Florian what he thinks about translating it from English. I could do it also, and I may, but he might have a better idea how to do that. Anyway, I want you to hear that interview with him because the things that he has to say about the major system are really, really powerful. So what I'd love to know on this live is who here knows the major system or the major method. I was starting to jawbone about why I call it the major method all the time instead of the major system. And I think that you create the system yourself, but there are methods for creating the system, and you don't have to follow any particular one. You can do a lot of different approaches. So I'd love to know who here has a major method or a major system in their mind, and what do you do with it if you do? And if you don't have one, do you even know what it is? And get some data going on that from the people on the call, and really excited. We got everyone from Dallas to New Zealand, all over the place, Melbourne. Yeah, I mean, I'd love to come down to Melbourne, and that'd be a fun thing to do, indeed. We're planning eventually to do a little tour around Australia, just to check out what kind of memory palaces you all got around here. I'm sure that there are plenty. I mean, Brisbane is already a mecca for memory palaces, an amazing, amazing place. All right, so nobody has used the major system or cares to let me know. Dario says, don't know what it is. Okay, well, major system, this is great. Now we can get started here. The major system is an amazing, amazing way to remember numbers, but it's much deeper than that. And that's why I want you to hear this interview with Florian Delay. because he really unlocks the possibilities of what you can do with it. But at its very, very core, it's a way of remembering any number of any length. And what it involves is a sound consonant approach. So what you're going to do is you're going to associate numbers with sounds, right? And it's really easy to do. It really took me just a couple of minutes to lock that into memory when I first encountered it. And let's go through the major approach. Your coffee sucks says, hey Anthony, what's up? Well, my coffee it does not suck. I make my own coffee. I brew it with a French press and everything. Like, I'm really particular about it. I put just the right amount in there, and then I pour water just to cover the grinds, or whatever you call them, with the ground coffee, and then I let it steep for a minute, and I stir it. Then I steep it for a minute, and then I pour after a minute all the way up to where I want the full cup to be, and then stir it again and steep it for 4 minutes. And this is all very, very particular. And then what I like to do is eat 3 raw cacao beans with the coffee. Woo! So my coffee never sucks. It never, ever sucks. Anyway, so the major method, and again, the link, you really want to get into this with Florian Delay, because he has variations on this that are incredible. And so that's magneticmemorymethod.com/Florian, Florian, and really great guy and great training. And again, we're unlocking in that interview some of the Esels Welt secrets, which is in German. Now, so the way that I do it is that 0 is associated with S, soft C, or Z. And you don't have to associate it with all of them. Just pick one at the beginning and get started with that, because 0, well, is the obvious one. The most obvious one is just to associate it with 0, because 0 starts with Z, right? But I don't use that often. I've used it with Thomas Zaz, it ultimately leads to, and Dr. Zeus, and different things like that, right? Is where this is leading. 1 is a T or a D. And this is super easy to remember, this association. Tirosine says, long time no talk, Anthony. This is true. Good to see you here. What are you doing in the world these days? And let everybody know where you're from, what time it is, and everything. And do you use the major system? Do you use the major method? T or D is super easy to remember. Look at the T or the D in your handwriting, right? There's a single line. I'm going to close this door. Well, that's fine. It's a single line, right? Just one stroke. So T or D. So 1 becomes associated with T or D. Now 2 is N. Tirosine says, I do use it a lot for numbers. I needed to memorize my first year of pharmacy school. All right. Yeah, well, I mean, that's a great way to use the major method, is numbers with pharmacy school. We can chat on that a little bit. What are you doing now with it, if you're still using it, and what are your feelings about it? So 2, N. Well, that's pretty easy too, right? Because N, if you think about it, has 2 downstrokes in a letter. But also, and this is a suggestion coming from one of you all, is Noah. Noah took the animals in pairs onto the ark, right? And well, now that I think about it, Noah has 2 syllables, right? So 2 is associated with N. Daniel says, regards from Mexico. It's 1 a.m. right now. Wow. Hey, is that Charles Bronson on your image there, your icon, playing the harmonica, Once Upon a Time in the West? Great Sergio Leone film, full of potential memory palaces, full of bridging figures. Wow, what a great movie that is. I'm pretty sure that's what that little image is that you had there, but maybe Charles Bronson played the harmonica. Maybe it wasn't Charles Bronson, but he may have played the harmonica in more than one movie. So 3 is associated with M. Oh, Daniel says, yes, I love that movie. Oh, it's such a great movie. If you haven't seen Once Upon a Time in the West, go and see it. It's just epic, and it's good for your memory. Okay, so 3 is M, right? How can we remember M? Well, mustache is right? Or McDonald's is like a sort of M shape if you just tip it on your side. I'm not going to go through every single one. You want to get them in your mind. Create your own images. So 4 is R, 5 is L. I'll give you that one, right? Like if you take your hand and you look at it, you've got 5 fingers and it makes an L shape, right? 6, you got a lot more options. Like 0, where you get multiple options. 6, you get options, so you get a J sound, J, like jar, or a soft G, like George. You also get SH, like Sheila, and Ch, like CH, Charlie. And so that's a lot of options. Just pick one if you don't know this. 7 is a K sound. 8 is a F or a V. Tan Lee says, I would like to aim to get well memorizing. Tan, great that you're here. Thanks for letting me know that you'd love to get good at memorizing. The major method is going to help you immensely. And so you want to listen to this interview that I just released with Florian Delay at magneticmemorymethod.com/Florian. Alan says, Anthony, I tend to associate the numbers with mnemonic sounds only. So 0, 1, but it just ran past there so fast, but I saw bun and bum. Ooh, racy stuff. But please say a bit more. I guess what you're saying is you just pick one. Which is what I did in the beginning as well. It's only over time that I've evolved to other ones, and then things get really interesting. So Tan says number system is a good example. Well, that's what we're going for. So we were the 8, right? So F or B for 8. And you can think of ways to associate that. And B and P, or B or P, is what is used commonly for 9, right? Now, there are many different ways. The Russians, for example, the Russian mnemonists, they use a lot different consonants for this. But the idea is that it's consonants, and then you fill the space between 2 consonants with vowels that will let you make words. So 9 and 9 would be a word that you would create from 2 B's or 2 P's, or a B and a P, or a P and a B, right? And then you would create an image in your mind. So maybe like, well, bop, right? And so I think of songs like Unskinny, Bop, 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 Take Me Away, or The Big Bopper, or, like there's all kinds of things. Or pop, Hop on Pop, right? Some from Dr. Zeus. So you can come up with static images, or it could be a pup, like a puppy, like your puppy that you have, right? And the more concrete you get with these images, then the more you're going to remember them. And so what a lot of people do is they do a 00 to 99 system, so that it's not guessing every time. And I like to do both. I like to be flexible, and I like to have some stock images that I always go to for different number combinations. And if you invest time and energy and effort into developing this skill for yourself, you'll be able to look at any number and memorize it really, really quickly. And so the only sorry, I have to laugh, but the only I'll laugh here. Tirosine says, it's just another tool I use, and I just blend it into my palaces. Now that I have it at 3.9, oh man, these comments fade too fast. I wonder if I click this button, forgive me for a second here, I'm going to see if I click this button, will it let me see these messages that have gone by so fast? No. Oh, yeah, now it's back. Okay. It's just another tool I use, and I just blend it into my palaces. Now that I dropped out to pursue something more interesting to me, I use it in... it still went away. Oh no. Now I'm really out of there. Well, I think that what you're saying is you decided to pursue a more interesting thing in life. Oh, okay, here we go. Now that I dropped to pursue something more interesting to me, I use it in my science classes to keep sharp. Science! Oh, okay, wow, thanks, Phil. Tan says, won't be able to catch up all things from 00 to 99. Well, Tan, don't convince yourself. Don't be so sure. Just start with 00. One of the things that you can do is, the computer will give you images that you can come up with once you understand this. But the first level is to have associations in your mind for each of those numbers. So really, to convince you that you can do this, go and listen to my interview with Florian Delay. Do it right now. magneticmemorymethod.com/Florian. Florian. Daniel asks, are you saying that a movie can be used as a memory palace? I've heard about that, but I can't imagine how that could be possible. There's a podcast episode all about that. Tan says thanks. Nicholas from Switzerland, nice that you're here. Sprichst du Deutsch oder können wir duzen? Oder ist sitzen besser? Oh man, it's been a while since I spoke German. Actually, it's only been a week, but I feel that I don't speak it daily, and so it's coming a little bit rough. And German upkeep is something that I'm really thinking about a lot. But I don't know if your preference is German or not, where you're from in Switzerland. But it's great that you're here. Um, yeah, so that's Hochdeutsch. Okay, so wir können Hochdeutsch sprechen. Gerne. Sehr gerne. Ich habe Hochdeutsch studiert eigentlich, aber ich habe viel in viele Taxis habe ich gesessen, sozusagen. Weißt du, was ich meine? Weißt, was ich meine? Boah. Muscles. It's the muscle memory that goes first, I think. But yeah, there's a podcast about using series like Breaking Bad and Deadwood as memory palaces. And if you get in there, you're going to really, really love that. But one of the things that I was saying is that, you'll get into these weird situations when you start using these numbers. And until that you're used to it, and even when you're not used to it, instead of actually just like recalling the numbers, you'll start recalling the images. So April and I, we often joke, we're at the bank machine. Tan says, I'm intending to learn new words, need improving my memory. Tan, there's so much material that I got out there for you about memorizing vocabulary. Just search magnetic memory method and vocabulary and you will come across a windfall. Just dive in, start studying. Don't hypnotize yourself that you can't do it. There's just been a podcast episode recently all about why people hypnotize themselves that they can't do things and tips to get yourself out of that mindset. And that's the biggest barrier anybody faces, is that mind that says, I can't. A friend, he's mentioned to me, you ought to start talking about this evil enemy, Dr. Kant. And so I started putting him into my writing, this Dr. Kant. And you gotta stop that stuff, man. The instant that you say you can't, you're right. So why not say you can instead, and then move towards doing and just figuring it out. It's really, really important. So Tan says the live is corrupted. Is anybody else having problems? Tirafine says, yes, Memory Palace is great for new words. I'm working on an Excel sheet with 500 GRE words with a separate column with words associating images. That's awesome. It's so easy. This stuff is so easy. It's just showing up and doing it and never, ever convincing yourself that you can't. It's something it will really help you. I think it's just understanding human biology. Human biology wants you to conserve energy, right? It wants that. And there are all kinds of things that go on in your thinking mind, chatter, blah, 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 that are just really designed to cause your biology to preserve energy. And if you can understand something, I'm going to show you something that's really powerful here. I'm reading this book right now. It's called Stillness Speaks. You probably heard of the author. His name is Eckhart Tolle. And Stillness Speaks is really an important book. And he's got this thought here that I think is one of the most powerful things that you'll ever learn in your life. I'm glad this came up. I mean, I don't know how many people are going to watch this in the future. But for those who do, you're going to love this. By the way, if you're not subscribed to this channel, and if you are from the future, hit that subscribe button. Hit the like button. So far, people are liking this. You see what this says here? This is one of the most important sentences in the world. It says, here's a new spiritual practice for you. Don't take your thoughts too seriously, right? Well, that's really, really important. So when you say you can't, don't take that too seriously. There's a problem with the transmission. Oh, well, I'm not sure what that could be. I'm not sure what that is, but maybe if we get some more like buttons here, it'll correct itself. Anybody else having problems? Let me know. All right, well, I'm just gonna, with only 2 people saying that there are problems, I'm gonna motor on. But yeah, what'll happen is, like April and I will be at the, Tyrosine says it's fine on his end. It may be that you need to log in and out of your own internet connection. That can certainly be one of the things that goes wrong. But Shander says, hey, Anthony, Shander, where are you from in the world? Alan says, yes, it does fade occasionally. I have the suspicion that maybe it's the elevator going up and down that is interrupting. and I don't know what to do about that. I'll see if I have VIP status in the building and say, hey, oh, Dimitri from Thailand, nice to have you here, Dimitri. Yeah, I'll see if the building will give me VIP status and stop the elevators, because I think that maybe that's what it is when the elevator goes up, because I just heard it go past, and that might be the interruption. So yeah. Anyway, so April and I were standing at the Chandu. Of course, I remember you. Glad that you're here. Let me think here. Tan says my problem is making imagination progress, link numbers. Uh, uh, Okay, well, that problem is easily solved by taking action and going to magneticmemorymethod.com/Florian, Florian. So, April and I, we're standing there and we are at the bank machine, and instead of the information, the numbers coming, I'll see the images, and the images will be come into my mind instead of the numbers, and then I have to translate the numbers into the machine, right? So I can't like put in. I'm not going to tell you what my images are for my bank card, but I can't type those images into the machine. I need 4 details. So yeah, it's Florian /Florian, magneticmemorymethod.com/Florian, Florian. I know you guys can see a chat window I can't see, so if somebody wants to help out and go to the site and post that link, then that would be great. Yeah, Tan, that's exactly right. Florian. Exactly. Perfect. So, yeah, I mean, that's the worst that can happen with this, is that you're making, oh, Chandu, I was just searching in my mind for what that was, and I was like, okay, so there's a kite and Danzig in there, and, but yeah, you're right, Vizag, India. That's an interesting thing, because I always this is really an interesting thing to be talking and accessing your memory, but I always ask April when she's asking me, what was that Chinese word, or how do you say this? I say, wait, stop, give me a second, I'll find my way back to it. And you have to do this when you're doing memory practice, is that people, they want to tell you what it is, right? And you need to tell them to stop, not to give you the information. And then I'm trying to like be entertaining live on this thing, and keep the flow, because dead air and all that sort of stuff is so bad for radio. But normally in real life, what I would say is, wait, don't tell me, just give me a second, and then I would get real calm, relax, and search that back. So Sapa Vietnam, says Tan. All right, so who here on the call, what image would you come up with for Sapa? And here's the little thing, for those of you who know the major method, how could you use the major method to remember the word Sapa? Now, I've already got it, right? The question is, have you? And what would you use? Now, in this case, I actually can use a hard mnemonic that's not using the major method, and I can use the major method to remember how that it's supposed to be spelled, right? So that's spelled S-A-P-A. Is that correct, Tan? Let me know. And let me know if you found that link. Cloudy with H Mong, and I'm not sure what that means, Tan, but it sounds great. In any case, yeah, that's what you could do. I'm not going to feed it all to you. I'd like you to challenge yourself and to think. There's a place called Sapa, S-A-P-A. You now have the formula for the major method. If you go to magneticmemorymethod.com/Florian. There are links there that will teach you the full major method. Alan says I'd use an image of an Australian Sapa soldier. Okay, well, I've never been aware of Sapa soldiers, but it sounds great. I mean, the more you understand that, the more concrete and real that will be for you, and the faster that will work as an image for you. Then the thing to consider too, right, is that the more that you practice memory techniques, the more appropriate images will come for you. So for me, instantly, I thought of Frank Zappa, right? And then in terms of remembering that it is Zappa spelt with an S, well, what did we cover today? That the major method has 0 associated with S, right? And then 9 is a P. So then I can think literally, actually in this case, of sap from a tree. So now we got Zappa sucking sap from a tree. And that is what you can do. Now, of course, there's more that you'll want to do to get it into long-term memory. Tyrosine says, SA means sand in my language, and pa is another word for dad, so I can imagine my dad shaking sand out of his ass. LOL, yeah, that is funny. Tan says, Mind Palace number system. That went by a bit fast. I'm not sure if you're asking a question, but I'm going to get out of here, guys. That was a great session. I'm going to think a lot about Zappa and Sappa, and I'm going to go look at Vizag again, and I'm glad for that little example. Eric says, greetings from WI Deutschland, former resident from Ontario, new to exploring your methods to learning Deutsch. Oh, that I want to figure out how to make these messages stay longer, because I want to see you guys. New to exploring methods to learning Deutsch, any samples for learning or memorizing verbs and so on. I highly recommend that you check out my book on German vocabulary. That would be great. What do you mean by WI in Deutschland, by the way? Did the lift just go by then? No, I didn't hear it, actually. So maybe it's not the lift. I don't know what it is. But I'm going to... Wiesbaden. Oh, okay, I see. I thought maybe you were talking about one of the Bundesländer, and I was just like, which Bundesländer is WI? Ah, yeah, Wiesbaden. Great place. Okay, so yeah, and how is your German? Actually, we've got a German speaker here from Switzerland, or he was on the call before, but I am going to motor here pretty quick. But if there are any final questions, I'd love to cover them. But in general, this is really urging you to go and, if you're making your own audiobook of the Magnetic Memory Method podcast, you got a new chapter, a fascinating discussion about the major system. Florian and I get real deep in the weeds, and that's a Tim Ferriss thing that he always says on his podcast that I like, because it makes sense, If you think of it, and I think often of the playtime that I had with my friends and how we used to go. Valentina says, you have nice hair. Oh, thank you, Valentina. I appreciate that. Actually, I feel like I need a haircut pretty soon here, but it's getting a little bit crazy. But today's my fasting day, so I always let things go a little wild, a little bit. Woo! Hey, look at this. We got 11 likes on this live video. Fantastic. Appreciate that. I love when you guys support with the engagement, and I love that you've been here. It's been really a lot of fun. And Valentina says it reminds me of a rock star. That's how you keep me on these calls. Keep the compliments coming about my hair, whatever. But just to sum everything up, this whole thing about being in the weeds, I remember playing with my friends out at the airport. There was a field there. I don't know if the last time I was there, it was there, this giant field and lots of weeds there. We used to go out. April's home, so I got a jet, but we used to get deep into the weeds, and we had so many adventures. We had so many great things, and when you go back and you think about all your friends, you have so many memory palaces on tap. But Tan says, you remind me of modern talking. LOL. Well, thank you. I appreciate that too. But April is home. I got a motor, but I really appreciate everybody being on the call. Go and check out that thing with the new episode with Florian Delay on the Magnetic Memory Method podcast. Give those like buttons over there a share. Share it on social media, on Facebook, on Twitter, Google+. Leave us a comment. Let us know what you think. Learn the major system. Learn it. It will serve you for life. It's one of the most amazing things. Oh, yeah, share that on LinkedIn as well. I'd appreciate that very much. And it helps me continue helping you, all the engagement. And if you want to come find this video again, there's a live major system tutorial on one of the ways that you can learn the major system. But I really want to stress that Florian has innovated a new way to use the major system, to learn it, that you may find easier. So if you're thinking 5 is L and 6 can be all these different variations and 9 is B or P, and then you're like thinking, holy cow, someone just told him the name of a city is Sapa, and he's talking about like all these numbers and so forth. Nicholas says, thanks, Anthony. Hope you're enjoying Brisbane. I am. I really appreciate you being on the call. Auf Wiedersehen und bis gleich, und hoffentlich nächstes Mal können wir ein bisschen mehr Deutsch sprechen, weil ich muss natürlich üben, immer üben. So, thank you for being here, and if you found that this is overwhelming, watch this video again. Go look at this wonderful podcast episode with Florian Delay at magneticmemorymethod.com/Florian, Florian. I appreciate you being here. I'm going to go hang out with my beautiful wife. And until we have a chance to speak again, much love from my magnetic heart to yours, and keep yourself magnetic. Thanks, Eric. Vielen Dank auch. Bis gleich. Tschüss. Oh yeah, SAPA. 6-panel link to SAPA. I don't know what that means, but great. Bye.